Domestic violence happens in every city, in every country around the world. Prince George is no exception to the rule. It's why a team of organizations are working together to help victims turn their lives around.
Tara Johnson knows all about broken hearts and broken bones.
My nose has been broken, rebroken so many times I don't even know what it originally looks like anymore.
Johnson spent 13 years with a man who routinely and violently abused her.
And I knew from the way he was acting, from having seen it so many times before, that once we got behind those closed doors, it was going to be bad. It was going to be very bad. So just before we got to the house and just before, like the vehicle had started to slow down, just before we got to the house, I opened up the door and tried to jump out. And he slammed on the brakes. I tried to run, but I slipped and fell. He jammed her in reverse and ran me over. I've still got a scar on my elbow here and on my back.
Her story is not unique. The Prince George RCMP get around 1,000 calls a year about the issue. In 2012, 552 of those were true domestic violence complaints.
Here we get calls every day on domestic violence. There isn't a day go by that they're probably, I wouldn't be exaggerating if I said there was 5 calls a day at least.
It's been a year since Corporal Carla Cook started in the new domestic violence unit. She belongs to one of many local agencies that deal with victims and abusers every day.
And it's very interesting because I started in the transition house movement probably over 30 years ago. And at that time they said 1 in 10 women are living in a violent relationship. Then over the years it became 1 in 6. And now they're saying 1 in 3.
Traditionally, leaving an abusive partner is the one and only piece of advice women receive. Now, there's a new thought process.
It isn't necessarily about having women leave. That is one choice that may be the best choice for her, but another choice is actually putting wraparound support to creating healthy families, because he's experienced his own trauma in his own way that have impacted, his way of being in relationships.
How to help families communicate together, because everybody's going to fight. It's about how you're going to fight.
Johnson's own cycle of abuse finally ended, and she put herself through school, taking criminology of all things. She plans to help other women who are suffering the same abuse she was able to survive. Kelly Linehan, CKPG News.